Have you ever walked away from a conversation wondering, wait, why did I agree to that? Maybe you promised to do something you never wanted to do. Maybe you apologized even though you weren't wrong. Or maybe someone made you feel guilty for simply saying no. Here's the scary part. It might not have been an accident. Every single day, people influence each other. That's completely normal. But sometimes influence crosses a line and becomes manipulation. It's subtle, quiet, and often so well hidden that you don't even realize it's happening until much later. Imagine this. You walk into a store planning to buy just one thing. 30 minutes later, you're leaving with a shopping cart full of things you never intended to buy. Sound familiar? Congratulations, you've experienced the power of psychological influence. Now imagine someone using those same psychological principles, not to sell you snacks, but to influence your emotions, your decisions, or even your relationships. That's where manipulation begins. The good news? Manipulators don't have magical powers. They simply understand predictable human behavior. And once you recognize the patterns, they become much easier to spot. One of the biggest myths is that manipulators are loud, aggressive, or obviously evil. In reality, they're often charming, funny, helpful, and incredibly likable. They know exactly what people want to hear. That's why manipulation is so difficult to recognize. It usually comes wrapped in kindness. Think about a friend who always says, "You're the only person I can count on." At first, it sounds like a compliment. But after the 10th favor, you begin wondering why you're always the one sacrificing your time. That's because manipulation often starts with small emotional nudges instead of big demands. Another common tactic is guilt. Someone might say, "After everything I've done for you." Suddenly, you're no longer making a decision based on what you truly want. You're simply trying to escape the uncomfortable feeling of guilt. Have you ever noticed how emotions can overpower logic? That's because our brains are naturally wired to protect relationships. We don't like conflict. We don't like disappointing people. Manipulators quietly use that instinct to their advantage. Then comes confusion. Have you ever argued with someone who somehow made everything your fault? You clearly remember what happened, yet somehow you leave the conversation doubting yourself. That's a major warning sign. Healthy conversations bring clarity. Manipulative conversations leave you confused. Here's something interesting. The strongest defense against manipulation isn't being smarter, it's becoming more self-aware. Before saying yes to anything important, pause for a moment and ask yourself 3 simple questions. Am I doing this because I genuinely want to? Am I making this decision out of fear, guilt, or pressure? Would I make the same choice if this person wasn't standing in front of me? Those few seconds of reflection can save you from hours, or even years, of regret. Let's be honest, we've all been there. Someone asks for just 5 minutes, and suddenly you're helping them move an entire apartment. It sounds funny afterward, but not while you're carrying a washing machine up 3 flights of stairs. Healthy relationships don't require constant guilt, pressure, or emotional games. They allow disagreements. They respect boundaries. And they make you feel safe instead of emotionally exhausted. The truth is, manipulation survives in silence. The moment you recognize the patterns, its power begins to disappear. So the next time someone makes you feel guilty for having boundaries, remember this. Kindness is not the same as obedience. You can care about people without sacrificing your peace. Real strength isn't controlling other people's minds. It's protecting your own. If today's video opened your eyes, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Sometimes the strongest defense against manipulation is simply recognizing that it exists. Stay curious, trust your instincts, and never stop asking yourself one simple question. Is this really my decision? Or is someone making it for me?